And I've also been seeing, not about crowd work, but I've been seeing like Jeselnik having an issue with people like Tony Hinchcliffe, who he's saying uses profanity or just shock value.
So this is something kind of interesting. Finally, people are starting to shit on old Joe Rogan for being a hack and just having fucking sycophants up his ass constantly. And I'm just thinking, where was this, 10 years ago when it was needed?
And I've also been seeing, not about crowd work, but I've been seeing like Jeselnik having an issue with people like Tony Hinchcliffe, who he's saying uses profanity or just shock value comedy. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, at this point, it's lazy and sloppy and hackneyed. To be in a fucking club where, I'm walking down the hall at the comedy club, at the Comedy Store, and, in one room, bit about trans people, and then I get down the hall and there's someone on stage going, well, I guess I got to do my bit about trans people. Like, no, you don't. You don't. It's hack now. I mean, you guys got the freedom you wanted.
And it was about 4 years ago, too.
You can now say whatever you want. They're defeated. Their rights have been denied. The policies that you guys encouraged with your stupid material are now policy. And now, half the people under the umbrella of anti-woke, we've lost a tremendous amount of democratic-leaning ideas and movements. So,
all true. Except one thing is that this guy went from center left and he jumped all aboard woke Hollywood and cancel culture when it was the thing to do, 2017 to 2023. And that's the one thing he won't acknowledge, and that Bill Burr rightfully called him out for it. And, everything he says about Rogan is right. He is a hack, he's unfunny, he's a stool-humping dickhead who's only good for MMA. He fucking sucks as a comedian. But old Marc Maron, Marky Mark, jumped all aboard woke Hollywood, cancel culture when it was the thing to do. And, he's not going to take any accountability for that. That's why he only has on his podcast fucking woke nobodies that no one gives a shit about.
Whether they knew it or not, that's what they were spearheading. So now it's reality, and you want to still keep kicking them? Go ahead.
I don't know that the...
Well, thankfully, Brendan Schaub doesn't do comedy anymore.
Comedians have had that
But fucking Bert Kreischer does, and he's probably going to keep doing that, unfortunately.
much power.
Are you fucking out of your mind?
No, I'm being serious.
Joe Rogan. I'm not gonna.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can't separate. Like, if the movement is like, we're being censored. No, you're not. You're not. There's no constitutional.
During cancel culture, they were, actually. And just fucking acknowledge it, because it would actually help your point that you're making.
Censorship issue with your free speech. You say things, and in a democratic shit show of an environment, like Twitter or whatever, there's cultural pushback. And I'm not saying that it wasn't. It was pretty bad in terms of people getting canceled and stuff. And I agree.
Oh, so you can acknowledge it. You can acknowledge that the Democratic Party jumped all aboard that fucking woke shit that ruined the country, right? Well, that helped to ruin your country.
Issue, but that's a specific issue. To frame it as some sort of free speech problem was a misdirect. It wasn't. It wasn't a free speech problem. It was that people were getting cultural pushback. That is not a constitutional issue. No one was being put in jail for saying anything.
But they were getting fucking cancelled from SNL, like Shane Gillis was, or having their shows removed, or being threatened with boycotts to never do comedy again.
It's a free speech issue. But my problem is you're going to start talking about anti-woke, and that's going to be your point of view. That's going to be your ideological, grounding for what you do. Okay, that's fine. But why does it have to be the same four fucking things? It's like they talk about the same shit.
Yeah, all true. All true. Kreischer, fucking Schaub, fucking Hinchcliffe at times, although he's actually funny sometimes.
And I don't know a better definition of hack. I mean, after a certain point, it's like, so what juice does the word retard really have? How much shit do you have to give trans people? What is your big problem with gay people? What's your big problem with women? It's like, what is this, the fucking 80s again? And it's so, to me, the problem is that language evolves. Okay? We don't use the word chink anymore. Well, maybe some of them do. You don't use the word oriental anymore. You don't use the word colored anymore. Is that, in a democratic world, people learn to treat other people with respect, communities, and live with it.
All true, except for one thing. Young guys who didn't vote left at all still use those words nowadays, buddy. In private, at least. And not so private at times.
So this pushback, I don't know how you frame it as anything other than.
But I think it's an outward vocalization of the time. I just went and saw Ricky Gervais at the Hollywood Bowl.
What a bore.
No, brilliant.
Coming from you, buddy, and your podcast, and your act, the last fucking however long, you're comparing yourself to Gervais on a stand-up level. Really, wow.
I loved it.
All right, go ahead.
Fucking brilliant.
All right.
Fucking brilliant. And he talked about kind of like this on stage. I think this new show is called Mortality.
The only stand-up I've seen is the bit he did about Theo Von recently. And he's another one too. Another one right up bald cunt's ass. Fucking idiot.
And he talked about, what we are appalled at or what we think is stupid is all about the time. And this is what I'm talking about, our cultural shift. We're not shifting it, it's shifting. He goes, listen, right now, everybody talks, the worst thing you can be is a racist. You can't, and it is right now. I mean, if that's probably the number one negative.
I don't think that's true. I think that maybe since he's written that show, the screw is turned. It doesn't seem to be the most negative thing at all. But we have a president who's a racist. And he's very popular.
He's not identified as one, though.
Well, how much digging do you have to do? Get me on a computer. I can do it in 2 clicks.
No, I know, but half the country doesn't agree with you.
So it's not the biggest problem, is it?
It's if you call him that, it's incredibly.
People call him that every day.
I know, and they are hating it.
Who is?
The people that are following that side.
Well, I'm just saying that the premise is faulty.
Well, let me tell you, but let me finish the premise. The premise is, whatever you believe is a racist move, if Ricky Gervais lived 100 years ago and bought 100 slaves, he's an aristocrat. He's not a racist. He would be applauded for owning a plantation and being that. And because he doesn't live there.
Well, we're coming close to that again. So I still think the timing's off.
But the point is, right now, if somebody tried to buy 100 slaves and had, African American people working for them,
it's going to be Mexicans, or it's going to be white people.
No, the Mexicans are being thrown out right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, until they create a new cast of people that'll fill those jobs. I mean, it doesn't. I don't want to get into politics.
Go ahead.
No, it's
I don't mind.
I
couldn't disagree more with the last 30 seconds. I mean, just absolute goo gobbler level conversation.
Your passion.
I understand what you're saying, and I look. I think you can say whatever you want. I don't care. I have no.
Yes, you do care, and it's fine to care.
Been filthy. I've said all the bad things on stage. I've been doing this a long time, under the radar in a lot of ways, and I've tried everything. I've done things that were inappropriate on stage. I've said things that were inappropriate on stage, and my experience with people receiving those things and talking to people, and I've evolved.
Great. So we shouldn't be a bunch of woke fucking pussies. Great.
Way I present comedy. I think when you talk about Jeselnik, he's just saying that isn't there a creativity workaround that could be funny without creating this juice that just comes from using words that used to be kind of triggering and are less now because the dominant cultural force is now
exactly
fascistic and leaning towards alienating those voices. So now that we've crossed that hump into what we are now, aren't you just kicking someone when they're down and just being a hack?
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. Yes. And comedy specials, 99% of them, including yours too, are fucking worthless. Unless it's Chappelle, unless it's Louis, no one gives a shit.
Because there is no real progressive pushback anymore. They've won, right? So that side has won. They've won culture, and they've won the presidency, and now you have a lot of frightened people that believe in what was once democracy in terms of respecting.
They've won like 53%, with 47% still hating their fucking guts. So everything is a transitory moment. So bollocks.
All types of people, that's kind of gone. So do you continue along that track of like being the victim of some liberal?
Yes, the hacks will still continue to be hacks. Yes. Fucking Theo Von and Bert Kreischer and fucking all those Roganites will still continue to be hacks. Ari Schaefer, whatever the fuck.
Conspiracy when it clearly is over. I don't know. So maybe I stand with Jeselnik.
Yeah.
Marc Maron absolutely exploding and flipping out on Joe Rogan.
Hello, yeah.
For that.
Oh my God!
And
I'm
that's
gonna have to pay.
Not when you smile. The disposition is now different. 10 years ago, if you said that, it'd been a different.
Brendan was the only guy. It was funny. Like I've known him since he was a kid. Like literally since he was a kid. I started comedy with his fucking brother
in New York, right?
Yeah, with Kevin. But Brendan did my show once, did WTF, and he didn't. He said you can't put that out. And I'm like, why? And he said, I don't think you treated me with the proper respect that I deserve at this point in my life.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? He was right. He was right. Because when I was in New York, he was this droopy little fucking kid with long hair who would hang around, hand out flyers, wasn't even doing comedy, just was around. And, he's getting to be buddies with Chappelle. But I always see him as that fucking little door kid handing out flyers in fucking New York. So
Barking.
I have that attitude. I'm like, so what do you have to go get your fucking shine box?
Right.
But he was right, and it did change our relationship.
I don't shine shoes no more. And then that's what ends up happening, dude. No, I know what you mean, though. It is hard. It's hard. I think that's the same way. I'm not taking a shot. But I think that's the same way Burr sees me sometimes, like very little brothery. He was always very nice to me when I was a young comic. But even now, I think he still sees me as that 26-year-old guy or whatever. I think it's just hard.
Like, not to be, and this isn't, I think what I said about Neil is funny and it's true and it worked out and we're friends,
Yeah, you're fine.
But with Burr, it's sort of like, there are certain dudes I've known over the years where it's just sort of like, I'm not going to be able to talk here.
You're not going to
That's it, buddy. Play the victim.
get much out.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're just going to wait it out. And you're all right? Yeah.
That's why he's only been on your podcast about 3 or 4 times, and it's been a very candid, respectful conversation each time.
Some guys hold the room. He holds the room.
Yeah, but there's a intensity to it. It's not just holding it like out.
As opposed to you, right, who's Mr. Nice Guy.
This story, you're like, is he mad?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, that's I never feel that's what I'm saying. I think he looks at me as the young comic he knew, and then sometimes I think he fucking hates me, or he likes me so much he doesn't.
Him and I have had issues at times.
Yeah.
Where like we've had real fights.
But you're very similar. That's the funniest part.
But like,
Could it be your cancel culture sellout about 8 years ago?
like a lot of people put things on me that aren't there because I'm just different.
Sure.
They're like whether I'm liberal or whatever it is, which I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, you can say it.
But like these fights will happen. There was one in the main room, dressing room, and Jeselnik was there and somebody else was there, and Bill was just yelling at me about due process, with a Me Too.
Yeah, don't be a woke cancel culture cunt.
Dude guy.
Okay.
And I'm like, he's yelling at me. He's like, there's no due process. And I'm like, but him.
Yeah, you do. But you know what? Let's still cancel the comedians everyone loves, right? Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but fuck that. There's no, and it was like uncomfortable. And the thing is with me, I'm not going to get in a fist fight, but I'm going to
Seriously.
Sure.
And and take the shot.
It would have went that far. Seriously.
I'm not going to start it, but I'm not going to run off. So now I'm in this thing with Burr where I'm like, what am I going to walk out of the room? I can't walk out of the room. I'm going to have to fucking just be in
Try being a man and stating what you really feel.
this.
Yeah, handle it.
And, you know, Jeselnik is like everyone's, it's one of those moments where mom and dad are fighting and no one knows. And then like 2 minutes later, you know, one of them comes in, he's like, can I get a picture? And I'm like, you know, with Van or whoever. And, you know, and Burr's like, he's like, yeah, you know, you're right. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I should, believe the women occasionally. And I'm like, all right, well, so that was totally unnecessary. And now it's gonna be.
Do you want to say what you actually said, like your endorsement of the whole regime at the time, or you're just gonna refuse any accountability?
Weird for at least a couple of weeks, even if you apologize right after. What are you, my dad? You're gonna yell and I'm gonna cry, and then you're gonna come into my bedroom before I go to sleep. I'm like, yeah, all right, right?
Not everything's about your dad.
I'm sorry.
I've lived that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Jesus, you're nearly 60.
okay, yeah, I guess I'm okay, but that still happened. You fuck.
What does it go back to? People are.
Now it's gonna be weird for at least a couple of weeks, even if you apologize right after. What are you, my dad? You're gonna yell and I'm gonna cry, and then you're gonna come into my bedroom before I go to sleep. I'm like, yeah, all right, right? I'm sorry. I'm like,
I've lived that.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm okay, but that still happened. You fuck.
What does it go back to? People are complicated.
Do you need another? Did you miss a therapy session, Mark?
Especially because this is a nightmare career, and it's genuinely going
Not everything is about your parents.
the worst version of yourself sometimes.
I think I think what it is really is that none of us could function in real life.
No, we try.
And some of us for a little while when we were younger. So, you know, that's what bothers me about generational issues in comedy. It's like this was a business where we could all decide our own shit and do it the way we wanted to do and have our own voice, have our own style, and do the thing that made us, you know, because we couldn't do anything else. It's like half of them were borderline outlaws. Yeah. I mean, they were like fucking criminals.
Yeah.
And they're just getting away with something. I worked with guys that wouldn't want to be in the paper because they didn't want to pay their taxes. And they were afraid they were going to get caught.
That's real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on some level, it's like preaching or anything else. It's like, how do I get away with something? But, you know, we're artists, and I get all that. But it bothers me now that there is a way to own yourself in this business. And by doing 5-minute crowd work videos where you're just asking people how long they've been together, you know, like a moron could do that. So how